I reckon, like, it happened, like, to be honest with you, mate, like, it happened so fast. Like, once I made a track and put it out, like, I know for sure that there was a lot of attempts beforehand. In that time frame, I don't know how long. I don't know whether it took. I know it was definitely less than a year. But to put it into perspective, I wasn't like, say, playing around with it for 2 days and going on and living my life and then coming back. Like, I was on that from like morning to night, no sleep, Monday to Sunday. Like, I just kind of I found myself addicted to it, and it was just all I knew. You know what I mean? And like, I've had an addictive personality from very young. So like, I used to play Call of Duty all the time. That's all I did. I never went out. You know what I mean? And it went from like, that's how I found, like, it's funny how it linked up because of playing like the game and all when I was younger. I linked myself into YouTube, and there was like there was a big community for like streamers and stuff like that when it was only kicking off. So I was always in that certain community where like YouTube videos or things like that. You know what I mean? I always kind of went towards that, and that's what linked me into making music, because I knew I wasn't good at playing Call of Duty. I knew I wasn't good at that. Like, I was crap. Like, but that's how I found myself steering into kind of FL Studio, because it's a similar type of category. It's full of creatives. So that's kind of how I ended up there. So when my mind kind of steered off playing the game all the time, it was steering into this. So I was on this morning, noon, and night for days. Just no pressure in the world. I didn't have any limits or deadlines to make music. It was just for fun at that point. So I had no pressure on me. So I was just making music, not really caring what people thought. At this point, there wasn't really a platform in Dublin or Ireland at the time for what I was for the type of music I was making, and just kept doing my thing, and then I think I was making like big room for a while, like EDM and like kind of like DG Vegas and like Mike and Tomorrowland, Ultra Music Festival, all that stuff. Like, I was watching the live streams, you know what I mean? I used to live for them live streams, you know what I mean? So I was kind of trying that stuff, and I was like, right, I'm levels behind here. Like, this is not going to work. So it got to the point where like I never actually released any of that stuff, because I was only starting off. It was kind of more of an experimental era. And then one day, a mate of mine came to me and said, because at this point I didn't show many people my stuff, and he came over to me and said, would you not try and make deep house? And I was like, what's deep house? I actually had no clue what it was. And he goes, this is the word for word how he explained it. He goes, basically, it's you take an old school vocal, he said, you chop it up and you put a nice beat around it. I was like, right, that sounds all right. You know, I mean, that sounds easy. So it was around the time Philip George, Wish You Were Mine came out, and that was number one. And literally, I just got an old 90s vocal. Made a track it's called Brown Eyes. I don't know if you've heard it. It's one of my first ever tracks that was never released. It was literally like one of my first ever deep house tracks like I ever created, and it went viral in Dublin. Like, it actually went all over Dublin, and it has like 6 million views on SoundCloud now. It still hasn't been signed up right, and it's just the way it's worked out. But that's actually the first house track I released. And it went crazy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that was my first one that I tried, that I actually put out, and it blew up from there. And from there on, then things just went crazy. Like, literally for about 2 or 3 years, it was just absolute like madness. Like, you know what I mean?